Management Research. Hello and welcome to the Management Research podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Eugene. Hello and welcome to the next episode in my strategic management series on my podcast on management research. And today I'm going to talk about the intended and the emergent strategy. And these are actually two poles of an approach to strategy and how we understand strategy, what strategy actually means. These are two poles, but between these two poles there are many other options, but I'm going to talk only about these two poles. And the first one is the intended strategy. And this approach means that the strategy is something like a plan, like a 5 years plan, where you exactly know what you want to do, where you want to go, and this plan has a sub-plan where everybody who is involved know exactly what they have to do in order to be where they plan to be in the next 3 to 5 years. The other approach is the emergent strategy that assumes that actually you don't have to make a plan, and making any plan is useless just because the situation, the markets, the environment is too dynamic, and making any plan doesn't make any sense. The only thing that you can do is become completely flexible and ready to respond to any change of the environment and use the opportunities that appear immediately, and the faster you use these opportunities, the more successful you become in the long-term perspective. As you may see that both of these approaches are not completely correct. First, the intended strategy, the idea to have a plan, used to be good maybe about 60 or 70 years ago when the markets were not dynamic or not so dynamic. Now most markets that we can think about, they are completely distributed among the key players. All the target groups, they are already differentiated, the niches are taken, and that is why making a plan doesn't really make sense just because it is too dynamic. It is very unlikely that you come up with a good idea and stay there in this what we call the blue ocean within the next 3 to 5 years and no competitor will intervene. The opposite is the case. As soon as you show that you are profitable, many competitors will jump in and try to understand the source of your profitability. They try to understand how you earn money and will try to do the same in the same segment, or they will try to make some niches and take away from you some of the segments that you have been covering hitherto. That is why having the plan is not a bad idea, but you have to be ready that this plan will never work till the end. As General von Moltke said, no plan survives the real battle. So, planning is good, but plan itself might not be pursued from the beginning to the end just because of the dynamism. On the other hand, the emergent strategy approach, assumes that you don't have to have any plan, that you have to be completely flexible and responding as fast as possible to the changes of the environment, to the changes of the market, and jump into any opportunity that is being revealed to you. This is on the one hand side a good idea, that you remain flexible. On the other hand side, the issue is that your organization has to have a core. You need to position your strategy. Remember our second last episode when we talk about your strategy as positioning and strategy as direction. You need to know where you are competing, and if you're competing in the automobile industry, you may not be able to jump in immediately into coffee industry or chocolate industry, just because you don't have the resources, you don't have the competences. And even though there might be a great opportunity, you won't be able to respond to this opportunity just because you will lack the resources, the tangible, intangible, and human resources that you will need for this one. That is why both approaches are the poles, extremes on the one scale about what the strategy is. Is it a plan, or is it a completely state in flux where you adapt immediately to the changes of the market? Actually, you're somewhere in between, and it depends on the industry, it depends on your approach, where will you be. More sticking to the plan but remaining a bit flexible, or more sticking to flexibility but still having some ideas, for example, about the positioning, which industry you're working in, or what kind of market you want to engage with. So again, we have these two extremes, and the truth is somewhere between these two poles. And depending on your industry, there are more and less dynamic industries. Depending on your business, it depends on how many competitors you have and how attractive is your segment for other competitors, you will understand where you have to be. At the individual level, it means for you also that having a plan is a great idea, but actually our life is so dynamic that many things can happen. You can plan any career you want, but if the market is changing, it will have immediate impact on your firm and how it evolves, or on your university and how it evolves. It can happen that your vision that you had might change within a few years if a new technology comes, or if your university decides to be more research or more teaching oriented, or decides to go for a certain competence that has not been there hitherto, and you might not be part of this competence. In this event, you will have to change. You won't be able to pursue your plan. At the same time, it's good to be flexible, and it's good to invest in your flexibility and thinking about how to make yourself adaptable to different challenges. For instance, if you are a researcher learning different methods and learning different new tools, you can invest in R, in Python and other tools that will help you to cope with different types of statistics. And depending on how the research is evolving, you may switch to different tools without having too many problems. Then, if you compare it, for example, with only one method where you build your competence in, and then this method becomes obsolete or becomes less interesting for the research market. The same applies to a firm. So within your firm, you can also decide where you want to go and what is the strategy and how you can make you more flexible in this strategy. So having a plan is absolutely necessary, but it doesn't mean that you will have to follow the plan. I think plan is nothing, planning is everything. These were the words I cannot remember. I think it was ex-CEO from IBM. Think about it, and I hope you enjoyed the episode. And if you liked it, share your comments, share your thoughts in the comment section on whatever app you're using. Wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.